Alright, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Morgan, and today I want to talk about some amazing starter watches. So I was having a conversation with my friend a couple days ago. We were talking watches, and he was telling me about pieces that he would be cool with buying. He's not like me, where I'm the kind of guy that's cool with dropping hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars on a watch. But I recognize that not everybody's like that. Not everybody wants to spend a vast amount on a wristwatch. But they still like watches though. So he and I were having a conversation, and we were just talking about more entry level and more affordable pieces that are that the cost of which are much easier to stomach, if you will. And that made me inspired to make this video. Talking about certain watches that I believe are great starting points for any collection, or if you don't want to start a collection, are good, just go anywhere, do anything watches, and that you can wear all the time in just about any situation. So without further ado, let's get into it. The very first watch that I think is a great starting point is going to be the Seiko SRPD 55. And by the way, before I actually talk about this watch, I want to say that every watch that I am mentioning in this video is a watch that I either own or that I have, had hands-on experience with and have had to spend some time with. So, having said that, let's get back to it. The Seiko SRPD 55. I'm specifically referring in this case to the black dial and black bezel variant. And I'll post a picture of it up here. This watch is $325. It's got an automatic 4R36 movement with a hacking and hand winding capability, which is standard for most automatic watches these days. It has 41 hours of power reserve, 42.5 millimeters of diameter. It's 46 millimeters from lug to lug, so it's very, very wearable on a variety of wrists. You gotta have really, really small wrists in order for this to not work with you. And then this watch also looks very much like the Rolex Submariner without completely stealing the design. It's in the same aesthetic because it's kind of a dive style watch, but it's not going to be completely plagiarizing Rolex. But if you're the kind of individual that does admire Rolex but doesn't want to drop that money on it, then I think that this is really just the perfect watch for you. This watch looks like a Submariner for a 30th of the price. Again, this watch is $325. But what you get with that is a watch from an extremely reliable brand with a lot of heritage. Seiko is extremely, extremely reliable. I own Seiko. In fact, I have my Seiko 5 GMT right here, which is the second watch I want to talk about. But, my mother owns Seiko. She's had her Seiko watches for 30 plus years, and those things are, quartz powered. They're absolutely amazing. It's a really amazing brand, and I love them. So moving on, Seiko 5 GMT, that's going to be the second watch that I want to talk about. A lot of the things that I just said specification-wise about the GMT are also true, the things that I said specification-wise about the SRPD are going to be true for the Seiko 5 GMT. Really, the only difference is that the Seiko 5 GMT comes on a Jubilee style bracelet as a standard instead of the Oyster style bracelet for the SRPD. This watch also has a 24-hour GMT bezel. Obviously, it's a GMT, you're going to need that. And then it also has the GMT hand. So for about $125 more than the SRPD, you're going to be getting extra functionality. So I think that's completely worth it in my opinion. This watch retails at $475. Again, it's got similar specs to the SRPD, so 41 hours of power reserve. Slightly different movement with the 4R34. Hacking and hand winding, 100 meters of water resistance. Just a very, very capable all-around watch. And like I said in my last video, I took this with me on an operation. I beat the hell out of it, and it survived it all. So, there's nothing really else that I can say about this watch that isn't super positive. And sorry, I gotta adjust my camera real quick. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, this watch is just amazing, and I highly, highly recommend it for anybody who is looking to start their collection. Moving forward, we're going to go up in price a little bit more, and then we're going to bring it back down. But this is going to be the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical. This is a manually wound watch, so it's a lot more involved than the previous two entries in the list. And for newer watch enthusiasts, manually wound watches mean that a manually wound watch, how do I put this? It operates the way it sounds, right? It's not like a quartz watch or an automatic watch where you can just put it on your wrist and forget about it. You have to wind the watch every few days or so. The nice thing about the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical is that it has an 80-hour power reserve, which is extremely impressive. That's rivaling a lot of other watches out there on the market that are manually wound. Most watches I've seen that are out there have around 48 hours of power reserve, or 50 or 60. The Omega Speedmaster, which is about it's actually an $8,000 watch now because Omega just raised the prices. That watch has 60 hours of power reserve, so you basically have to wind that watch every other day, or else it's going to die on you. Whereas with the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical, you can wind that watch. You can get away with winding that watch maybe once every 3 days, and it'll keep time just as well. It's $595 on Hamilton's website. It's got a 38mm diameter. It's 9.5mm thick. I think this watch's only weakness is that it's 50 meters of. It's got 50 meters of water resistance. So you definitely do not want to take this watch with you in the ocean. You don't want to take it with you into the pool. I mean, maybe you could take it into the pool. It'll probably be okay if you do that. Don't quote me on that though. But you just want to be careful about the situations that you take this watch in when water is involved. I think that's its only weakness. Other than that, it comes included with a NATO strap, but you can change out this watch with any strap that you like. It's just it's got a really simple design with a matte bezel and a black dial. Like, that's about as simple as watches can get, and I think that design it's one of those go anywhere, do anything timepieces, and it's just very, very good and very versatile. So that's why I think it's a great starting point for any collection. Moving on from that, and some of you are definitely going to hate me for this entry, but I have to talk about it because this is a watch that I owned for 7 years, and had it not been for a freak accident that was entirely my fault, and it happened because I was drunk, I would have probably kept this watch around far longer, and I probably wouldn't own the watches that I own today if I did. But this is going to be the Fossil Townsman Automatic. Now this watch is actually this particular reference is going to be discontinued, the one that comes on the Jubilee bracelet. But Fossil has updated this model and included it on a oyster style bracelet, and it's $260 on their website. The reference number is ME3172, just in case you're curious. And I'll put a picture of it up here. But I owned this watch for 7 years, from about 2015 to 2022. It was a gift from my mom on my birthday, shortly after I had enlisted. And yeah, I kept this watch with me. I took it to 4 countries. I took it everywhere with me. The only places I didn't wear it was either to the gym, during jiu-jitsu, or when I was running, doing distance running. Those are the only 3 times I didn't wear it. Otherwise, it was constantly on my wrist, whether I was, going on hikes or going in the ocean, or doing a black tie affair. This watch went everywhere with me. This watch is 44 millimeters in diameter. The current model has a smoky gray coating on the stainless steel, but this model here, as you can see, is black and also super scratched up. I think that's why they updated the color of it to maybe hide the scratches a bit better. But this watch is water resistant to 50 meters. It's got a 22 millimeter lug width. It is not hacking, so you cannot hack the seconds, but it does have a hand winding capability. So it's not the most accurate watch. The movement could be better, but it does have the manual winding capability going for it. Additionally, this watch is a bit on the dressier side. As you can see, if you can see that, let me just adjust the camera again. This tripod keeps on falling down. Anyway, as you can see, there is a 24-hour indicator here, so you can tell whether it's AM or PM. Not that you would really need that. And you can also see that there is a small dial for the sub-seconds here. And it's got an open heart design to it as well. So it's just a very classy looking, dressy looking piece, but in my opinion, it can go anywhere with you, and it can pretty much survive anything. The reason that I decided to replace this watch was because when I was in Korea, I was out with some friends. We were super wasted, and I was too. And as I was going through the door, walking into a bar, I caught my hand on the door frame and couldn't get it free. And at first I thought I caught my sleeve on it, but as soon as I ripped my arm out of the door, the crown on this watch came flying out of the case, and it fell on the ground, and I had to go like shuffling through the snow, like trying to find the crown. And I took the crown and I jammed it back into the case and tried to get the watch working again. It still runs, but it hasn't run the same that it used to since then. So that's why I eventually replaced the watch, and now it's kind of sitting in my drawer. But again, if that hadn't happened, if this watch had not had the crown ripped out of it like crazy, it would probably still be the mainstay in my collection today. So as far as go anywhere, do anything watches go, I can't give a better review than that, really. It's just a really awesome watch. Yeah, it's a fashion watch. Yeah, it comes from a brand with probably zero heritage. But when you can take a watch around for 7 years and beat it up like crazy and do anything with it, I think that speaks volumes about its quality and how capable it truly is. So, yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of my first choice in watches is. Moving on though, the final watch that I want to talk about, and this is the cheapest watch of them all. This is going to be the Casio F91W. For this entire video so far, we've been talking about watches that were a few $100s, ranging anywhere from like $260 all the way up to $595. But we're going really, really cheap here. We're talking about entry-level watches, so it's hard to not include this. It's hard to not include the F91W, because this is like, if you want a watch that can really do it all, this is it. This watch has a chronograph. It has an annual calendar. It has, it has an alarm function, and it's got 7 years of battery life. And and also it is accurate to plus or minus 30 seconds a month, which about equals plus or minus 1 second a day. That is better than nearly any other mechanical watch on the market today. In fact, the only watches that I can think of that even come close to this level of accuracy that are mechanical are Grand Seiko's spring drive, and those are accurate to plus or minus 1 second a day. But even then, those are utilizing quartz technology. But no, this video is not about Grand Seiko, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, this is it's a quartz powered watch, so it's going to be one of the most accurate watches you can possibly get on the market today that isn't powered by atomic time. This watch is 38 by 35 millimeters. It's 8.5 millimeters thick, so it's probably the most wearable watch on this list. Literally anybody could put this watch on and it would look great on them. It's got resin construction, so there's that. It's not made of metal unlike the other entries on this list. And it's got resin crystal on the as serving as the glass. So it's not actual mineral glass like you would see on a Seiko. It's definitely not sapphire glass like you would see on the Hamilton. But again, what you lose in build and quality of materials, you make up for in price. You know, you just cannot beat the price on this watch. This watch is $22.95 today on Casio's website, and it's just, yeah, for the price, it's just unbeatable. You're not gonna get better value than this watch right here. And yeah, what else is there more to say? Anytime I see this watch on somebody's wrist, anytime I see a Casio F91W on somebody's wrist, and I ask them about it, you know, they either say it just works for me, which it does, I believe them, or they deliberately pick that watch out because they know that watch, and they know how much of a classic it is in this community, and how well respected it is. And I can't do anything but respect their choice as well. So that's really it for this video. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I can say. But if I were to close it out, I would say that at the end of the day, no matter where you are in your collecting journey, you got to respect people's choices, and you got to like, or you have to allow people at least to like what they like. You know, preference is a very, very individual and subjective thing. You know, people are just going to like different things in you, and that's okay. You got to let them walk their own journey. So with that being said, I'm going to close it out. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on these picks for a starter watch collection or a go anywhere do anything watch collection. Whether you agree or disagree with the entries on this list. If you have anything to add, I would really appreciate that. And I hope you all have a good day. Thank you very much.